welcome to this talk about the latest developments in artworks. Yes, does anyone remember when I was here for the last time demonstrating new features in artworks? No, it was not 2 years ago. In fact, I did give a talk 2 years ago, but not about new features because there weren't any. In fact, the last time I was here presenting artworks developments was in 2012. So the current release version of artworks is unbelievably 4 years old. So it's older than my eldest daughter. And I thought it's about time that we had a new version. And so that's why I've now started developing artworks 2.x3. And it's nearly finished. I really hope to have it finished for this show, which unfortunately did not work out. But it will really be there within the next couple of weeks if things go well. So there is one big change in Artworks 2x3, and that's the fact that it supports the new screen modes that are used by the new hardware, like the titanium board and the iGET V5 board. The current version of Artworks would not display files properly on these new machines. So for that you would really need the latest Artworks 2x3. But in addition to this, I've also put in a nice new feature in the new version of Artworks. And it's a feature like so many others, I've borrowed from Zara. And it's a new way of drawing shapes. Now, if you've ever watched a child draw, you will probably realize that they would find it really difficult to draw using a vector graphics package. Because what childs love to do is just they pick up a crayon and they scribble away. I mean, that's how you normally learn drawing. You just draw. You don't want to adjust anchor points and tangents of curves. And so that's what makes drawing in a vector package so unusual, and that's a steep learning curve at the moment. But in the latest version of Artworks, you can really just pick up your brush, different brush sizes here, and just draw. And it's a bit similar to the freehand tool, but as you can see, you are not drawing a line here, you're drawing a shape. And the nice thing is, you can not only draw, you can also erase. If you simply use the right-hand mouse button, which is a typical RISC OS thing, you've got an eraser. So you can now also erase from shapes. And that of course applies to all kinds of shapes. Also shapes that you've created using other means. Although at the moment, this tool only works on real shapes, so for this polygon I would first have to choose Make Shapes. Now it's a shape. I go to my shape eraser and I erase like one of the spikes here. Oops. You can also cut holes into objects easily. And by the way, here at this bottom row of the info bar, you've got different brush sizes. At the top row, you've got different brush shapes. So I've chosen a smaller size, and I'm just cutting a hole into this shape. So that's a more intuitive way of creating and editing shapes. And in particular, if you compare this to the freehand tool, I mean, you can start and draw a closed shape in the freehand tool if you remember exactly what you want to draw. But once you've drawn it, you cannot edit your shape using the freehand tool. So again, this is where this new eraser comes in so handily. Just erase the things you didn't like. So looking at this apple. Some people think an apple looks nicer if someone has already bitten off a bit. No problem here. Let's bite off some part of this apple. And, which is also quite useful, if you think you've bitten up too much, well, let's get some of this back. Oops, clicked too much. The secret behind this example is that I've applied a clip view, because as you probably know, in artworks you can clip any object to a path, and I've simply applied, let me just load this file from scratch. In the secret preparations you just saw me doing before the talk, I simply applied a rectangular clip view. It's this thing here. That's the rectangle. It's bigger than the apple, so it doesn't actually do anything. But it's one feature of this new shape painter and eraser, that it operates on shapes, or it operates on the clipping path of clip views. So whenever you want to use it on an object, all you need to do is apply a clip view first, and there might even be a new function in Artworks to do this for you if I get the time to finish this off. And then away you go. In fact, you can also cut things in half. And if you think you got things wrong, easy enough to always put things back. And of course, what works with this complicated apple drawing also works with a bitmap. Again, you just need to apply a clip view, and this is what I actually did secretly before the talk. So you want to erase this tree down here, no problem, just scribble away. And it's gone. And again, as before, no problem to bring parts back that you have accidentally erased. Right, so that's the main new thing in Artworks 2x3. Apart from that, there are a couple of bug fixes and minor improvements.
Nudging, perhaps?
Yes, I've put that on the list. I promised that to a certain gentleman. I can't remember who it was. Yes. Yes, there was an annoying bug in the fitting text to curve, which crashed on some machines. I fixed that at least. There will be an improvement to PDF import, which currently blows up all the imported bitmaps to full 24-bit color, which uses more space than is necessary. So the PDF importer will try to retain the color depths of the sprites of the bitmaps it imports. But apart from that, yes, that is what's going to be new. Are there any questions?
About a zero pain question. I haven't investigated it. Did I get a zero pain from Artworks every day?
Ah, yes. I haven't looked at that. I might be able to fix that for the release.
Should I send it to you, or do you know about it?
If you've got a report file, yes, please let me know.
Okay, I'll do it.
So, anything else?
Could you fill the background in the area where the tree was?
That's a good question. I was wondering whether anyone would ask that.
Just repeat it. Just repeat the question.
Yeah, I'll just repeat it. Can you paste background into the area where the tree was removed?
Technically, yes, that's easy enough, because this has really changed the shape of this bitmap. These bits here are cut out. So if you put anything behind it, for instance, a copy of this bitmap, let's move it to the side, put it to the back. You can now see the other bitmap through it. The trouble is, of course, how to make this look seamless. You'd have to find some way to to blend the two into each other. I'm going to try something. I haven't tried this before. We can use graduated transparency, linear, and I'll make it so that the most of the bitmap is solid, but it gets gradually less solid. So it's going from 100. It's going from 0% to 100%. Yes, it's slightly better, but you can still see the seams. Of course, we may have to make the other bitmap transparent as well. Let's try that. No, like this. So it's too short.
Well, that's artistic.
Yes, I wonder whether we can. Because it's an unfortunate shape, the way. But anyway, let's see. The endpoint must be outside here. Yeah. But I don't think we can easily get rid of the seam between the two bitmaps. Oops. I'm sure there must be a way to do it.
I'm sure you'll have that cracked by tomorrow.
Yes. Well, we'll have to leave something for artworks to export.
I say, does Zara have a tool that would solve that problem?
Indeed, they have, yes. Because what Zara can do and what artworks can't is to have a transparency that works around the edges of an object. So you can tell Zara to make like 10 pixels from the inside transparent, and it will slowly fade out the transparency towards the edges. And in artworks, the only kinds of transparency we have are those that are fading out linearly along a path or along a direction. And of course, these this wouldn't work along this ragged edge here. If I had, in fact, let's try that. If I had erased things along a straight line, I'm sure there should have been a way to do it. So, more like this. And then give it a transparency that ends about here. Still not so very perfect. What did I get wrong? I mean, now you could imagine there is a beam of light coming from up here. But I'm still not satisfied that you see. No, I need to do it differently. I need to fade out before the edge. It's getting better and better, but you still. And you can actually remove the transparency from the second one. Don't need that anymore, I think. Yes, if you keep on playing with it, it will get better in the end. But okay, it's certainly not. It's not meant for serious photo retouching. I mean, for that we've got better packages. But the main point was to demonstrate that really you can erase from pretty much anything you want. And in fact, there is one important use case where this is really useful, because you can, supposing you have a photograph or a scanned image, and this image has some background, like this photograph of a chili, and you want to create an object that you can simply place on a page without obscuring other things. Now what you can do is of course draw around it using the freehand tool, but that's pretty hard work. So I think it should be rather easier to do this using the eraser. So let's go through the usual trick. I've got this rectangle. Oops. I apply a clip view, and then I can erase away. The nice thing is, if I get it slightly wrong, I can always paint little bits back in. In fact, I'm going to use a larger brush now to get rid of the other stuff. I think you get the main idea. Sorry, I used the wrong mouse button. I need to erase, not paint. Okay. Yes, and I can use a smaller brush to do the details. So at least for tracing around things, trying to prepare a masked version of an image, this tool will be very helpful, I think. Right, so I think, are there any more questions? Yes.
I was just wondering, when you were erasing, was it making it more complicated, or was it just redefining a boundary? Was it adding layers of erasing?
Okay. No, it's actually there was only one outline really, and it's it's the same way as when you draw something using the painter. You've got this outline, but when you draw around it here, it really joins things up. So the shape is becoming easier again, simpler again. So it's continually adjusting the outline to include all the area that you've touched. No color. So, and if you cut it like that, it's now become two different shapes. Well, in fact, technically it's still one shape, but it's a joint shape. And you can break them using the ordinary artworks mechanism for breaking shapes that have been joined. But if you paint a connection, it's also become a single shape again. So it doesn't matter how often you draw or you paint on top of an area, it doesn't become more and more complicated. It really simplifies things. Okay.
How long has that been in Zara?
Not that long.
Not
It's
that
a
long.
relatively new feature,
I don't
really.
remember it from Zara.
Yeah, it's not easy to discover. There is so much functionality there that you won't spot it that easily. And the main reason it was added to Zara was really for the masking.
Right.
So similar to, for instance, the clipping I was showing you. It's not. I mean, you can use it to draw just shapes, but it's even more useful when you apply it to a clipping path, for instance. Although I'm not quite sure in Zara whether you can really use it on a clipping path. I'll have to try. Okay, I think, yes, we are almost out of time, so maybe one last question, if there is one. And if there isn't, thank you for listening.